Oh, hello and welcome to a North Wales side-by-side video. In a previous video, you would have seen me putting a mousse into this tyre. Now, I've got about 20 miles on this mousse now, and I've noticed something with the mousse since I've ridden it. One, it's very uncomfortable on the road, but towards the end of the ride, I noticed the back of the bike was a little bit, didn't feel quite planted. But what I did notice when I put the bike back in here is somebody's telling lies. Either that mousse isn't the dimensions they're telling me, which should be 2.125 in diameter, or the tyre manufacturer, that should be a 2.2 tyre, 26 by 2.2. One of them is being a little bit conservative on their dimensions. I know from tyre manufacturer to tyre manufacturer dimensions do vary, but I've got squidginess on the tyre that I can feel with my fingers, and I can move the tyre up and down as if the tyre and the tube are not in contact. So I'm going to pull it off again, measure the mousse, measure the width of the rim, and see what dimensions I've got and see where the problem is. Because I'm going to have to find some way of packing the tyre and the mousse to create a tighter fit. If the mousse is right, then it's the tyre that's wrong. And maybe I'll have to go down a size on tyre to make it a tighter fit on the mousse. But I think I've come up with a plan, if that's the case, of being able to sort it out. So I'm going to get the wheel off, I'm going to do some dimension checking and see what's going on, because what's scaring me is if I've got this difference in sizes and I'm out riding, could this tyre come off this rim? Could it come unbeaded and cause me to come off the bike? And I don't want that. So I'm going to try and get my head around it now, sort it out, try it again tomorrow. So I'm going to get the wheel off now, get the tyre, get the mousse off and see what's going on and do some measurements. I've made a discovery why the mousse has done what it's done on the electric hub wheel. Right, that's the measurement of the width of the rim in inches, which is this rim here, and that measurement is across the inside of the lip here. It's 1.3055, and the mousse is a 2.125. So that mousse will not fill the width of this rim. So as an experiment, I've just put the mousse into the tyre and put it onto the original giant rim. And that fits that. Even though I've got a 2.2 tyre on it, that rim is only 18 millimetres wide. So that mousse isn't designed for such a wide rim like I'm using on the electric hub. Well, I'm going to try an experiment. I've got an old tube that's got 1,000,000 punctures in it, so I've just ripped the valve out of it. And what I've done is I've put it on the outside diameter of the mousse, and I've zip tied it on. I'm now going to put it in the tyre, and I'm going to see if it makes any difference when I put it back onto the big wide rim. I can all but try before I go and see if I can get away with this. Because my thought is, It's quite a good thought. Because I've increased the diameter of this mousse now, when I ram it into the tyre, it's going to be tighter into the tyre. So it's going to put more pressure downwards and outwards. That's the theory. Whether it works or not, different story. But if you don't try, you don't know. So that's what I'm going to try. So let me put mousse in the tyre on the rim and see what the difference is. Well, I've got the mousse back into the tyre and the tyre back onto the rim with that inner tube zip tied to the mousse, but it hasn't done what I wanted it to. I've still got, it's not pushing it onto the bead properly. I shouldn't be able to do that with the tyre. See the gap I can create with my fingers? That's just going to roll the tyre off. That is not safe. When I first put it on, it didn't do that, but it is since I've ridden it, and I think the mousse is bedded in, found its place. But I can't ride a bike like that. So I'm going to put a tube back in that for now. That mousse needs to be bigger in diameter. It's the only thing I can do to it is make it bigger. It's not for the will of trying. Alright, let's put a tube back in it and put it back on. And pray I don't get any punctures. Right, so what have we learned by my trying to put a mousse into an MTX 39 rim? You can't do it. The rim's too wide for the mousse, and the tyre will not stay on the bead. So all you're down to is using really good quality thick tubes with slime in them. But if you're still running a standard wheel, less than 25 millimeters wide across the inside, and not 33 like this one is, the mousse fits the original wheel of this mountain bike, and it fits it really well. Just doesn't fit this rim. So anybody that's built an e-bike, don't buy a mousse. It's that simple. Don't buy one of these mousses because it ain't gonna fit. See, if I can't share my experiences on YouTube with everybody else, nobody's going to know these things. That was £31, that mousse. Hoping it was going to go in here. It doesn't. But I can still use it. I could put it in the front. And it would work in the front tyre perfectly. I'm not going to get... That's what I might do, actually, and use it on the front. And keep the other slime in a tube as a spare for this. That's what I might do. I might put the mousse in this front tyre. I'll see how I feel about that. But for now, I know it doesn't fit the MTX 39. That's lesson learned. So... whole idea of doing these projects is experiment, try things. If it works, it works. I'll share it with you. But if it doesn't work, I'm also going to share it with you, so you don't make the same mistake. Thanks for watching. Please consider liking. Please consider subscribing.